If you're playing Elden Ring, you've probably come across a handful of helpful notes left by other players such as try rolling or ambush ahead, and probably a whole lot more that say stuff like try finger, butthole, or behold, rump, or just telling you to jump off a cliff. This feature is by no means new to FromSoft games, but it continues to be a divisive one in a game that's already challenging and obtuse. Needing to figure out if a note is useful info or just trolling is an added wrinkle, but it gets even weirder when you factor in how many different languages the game is being played in. The individual words and phrases players can use to leave messages get localized into different languages, but the context, especially for humorous messages, is often lost in translation. IGN spoke to Elden Ring players from various non-English speaking countries about how they interpreted different memes and got some interesting insight. To English speaking players, the phrase Fortnite might be an obvious reference to Epic's popular battle royale game, but players in Japan and Italy told IGN about how this note had them thinking it was a hint that something would be happening at night near a fort. In Italian, fort reads more like strong or powerful, so one player who found a Fortnite note outside the War Master's shack where a tough fight does take place exclusively at night was led to believe that other places he saw the note would also have tough nocturnal boss fights, which isn't really the case. Meanwhile, a note that says Edgelord by Ensha, the woman in Round Table Hold who just stands there with her arms folded, not talking to anybody, seems like a nice gag about her being an antisocial, try-hard contrarian, but to non-English speakers, it's more likely to read like a note suggesting that you investigate the edges of things, which, again, kind of confusing. This is a two-way street though. Gags in other languages can confuse English-speaking players as well. For instance, in Spanish, grace can also mean funny or sense of humor, so outside of the game, people are posting memes of corny dad jokes followed by the lost grace discovered, as in they found an old joke. In-game, it can be a little more mean-spirited, like for instance, try looking for grace might read like, think about why this is funny, and leaving that note at the bottom of a ladder where players are going to get mobbed by enemies if they accidentally read the note instead of climb the ladder, well, it's kind of mean-spirited, but also kind of funny. If you're finding the word grass left in odd, not very grassy spots, there is a possible explanation. Japanese players are using the word grass as shorthand for LOL. Long story short, the kanji character for laugh gets abbreviated to just W, and the equivalent of writing LOLOLOL is just a bunch of W's in a row, which sort of looks like cartoon grass, thus grass, LOL. Meanwhile, in Mandarin, the word for grass sounds enough like that it's being used as such. So if somebody wrote grass in a particularly difficult but grassless area, that might be a Chinese player firing off an F-bomb out of frustration. Or it could be somebody in Japan having a chuckle because that part was hard. You can check out the full write-up about this over on IGN.com, and whether you think that these silly messages are a juvenile and frustrating thing or an integral part of the FromSoft experience, I think we can all agree that mistaking a tortoise for a dog is pretty funny.
What type of dog is this?
This is a tortoise.
What's the best goof you've seen in Elden Ring so far? Offer pickle in comments below. Likely dung. And for everything Elden Ring, could this be an IGN? In short, praise the friendship. Good luck. You don't have the right. Oh, you don't have the right.